Hello, you're kicking off the Monday's edition of Qpvn English News Bulletin. You're with me, Ling Chi, and income headlines. Viettel Peru by Theo receives third-class labor order. Frigate 015 Chen Hưng Đạo arrives at Cuba port, Japan. From a legacy of woe to a legacy for generations. Recently, at the headquarters of Viettel Peru by Theo in Lima, Senior Lieutenant General Phùng Sĩ Tấn, Double Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army, presented the third-class labor order to Viettel Peru, also known as by Theo, on behalf of the Ministry of National Defense.
After more than 11 years in Peru, Viettel Peru or Viettel has expanded telecom services to most remote areas, built wide digital infrastructure, promoted natural digital transformation, and rolled out digital financial, educational, and healthcare services. Under the Viettel brand, the company is among Peru's fastest-growing operators, holding the second-largest market share. Senior Lieutenant General Phùng Sĩ Tấn stressed that Viettel Peru is the standout of the Vietnam military industry and telecoms group. Its results show Vietnam's strong international integration, with military enterprises taking the lead in economic and technological cooperation, and affirming Vietnam's credibility and competitiveness in the global market.
As part of their visit and exchange program in Vietnam, the young officers delegation of the Ministry of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Cuba visited and carried out meaningful activities in Quang Tri province.
The delegation offered flowers and incense at the tomb of General Reup in Vũng Chùa Đạo Yến and the special national relic site of Quang Tri ancient citadel, and toured the Hiên Lương Bến Hai historical site. They collaborate on the glorious revolutionary traditions of the Vietnamese people and the heroic achievements of the troops and people of Quang Tri during the resistance war against the United States. They also met historical witnesses, sharing memories and key milestones in the traditional loyal friendship and solidarity between Vietnam and Cuba. The delegation visited Fidel Castro Park in Đông Hà Ward, a landmark built in 2018, symbolizing the respect and gratitude of the Vietnamese people and the people of Quang Tri for Little Fidel and Cuba. In a warm and sincere atmosphere, young officers of both countries joined cultural exchanges, shared working experience, and recalled the Vietnam-Cuba friendship. The visit left strong impressions, helping deepen the special solidarity between the two parties, the two states, the two militaries, and peoples of both countries.
After finishing the customary visit and the joint drills with the Navy of the Chinese People's Liberation Army, Frigate 015 Chen Hưng Đạo and the working delegation of the Vietnam People's Navy headed to Japan, the next stop of its journey to carry out defense diplomatic tasks.
Since 2018, this is the second time Frigate 015 Chen Hưng Đạo has paid a customary visit to Japan. This visit aims to put into practice the joint vision statement on defense cooperation for the next decade, in line with the comprehensive strategic partnership for peace and prosperity in Asia and the world, and to further strengthen trust and mutual understanding, tightening the cooperative ties between the Vietnam People's Navy and the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. After the official welcome ceremony at Cuba Naval Base Port, senior officers of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force went on board Frigate 015 Chen Hưng Đạo.
On December the 7th, Military Region 5 held a meeting with agencies and units involved in implementing the swift housing construction as Quang Trung came in.
Affiliated units of Military Region 5 and Đắk Lắk Provincial Military Command reported on progress and proposed issues during talks performance. Earlier on December the 1st, Military Region 5 Command, in coordination with Đắk Lắk Provincial People's Committee, commenced construction of houses for residents whose homes were destroyed by recent floods. Immediately after the meeting, Military Region 5's leadership visited, presented gifts, and encouraged officers and soldiers working on housing construction in Đông Hà Ward and Hoa Thị come in, during which they asked for better material, mental, and physical conditions of the troops, also strict discipline, safety, high quality, and timely progress of the constructions.
In the journey toward building a revolutionary, regular, highly skilled and modern military, the military youth remains a dedicated and primary force. Whether on mountainous training grounds or ship decks at sea, their unity, resilience, unwavering determination and readiness to overcome every challenge have become defining qualities. The commitment to pushing beyond limits and reaching new milestones in training and combat readiness stands out as one of the most remarkable hallmarks of the young generations of the military.
In the sky of the fatherland, the young air defense Air Force soldiers are getting increasingly mature, exploiting and operating modern weapons and equipment effectively. The courage and confidence of these fighter pilots to master the sky is proof of the dare to think, dare to do, dare to innovate spirit of the military youth. Our youth owes an immense thought strength. We dare to think, dare to do, and pursue our dreams to make our pictures more beautiful and colorful. Within harsh wind and cold on the frontiers or the big waves in the distant sea, each officer and youth union member is enthusiastic about training and have great desire to contribute. The emulation models of the youth have added strength to the will of the soldiers who safeguard the borders, the skies, and the sacred islands day and night. Each day studying and training is an opportunity for me to hone my skills, improve my expertise, and broaden my knowledge. The military youth is asserting its role as a pioneering force in training and combat readiness, contributing to building a regular, highly skilled, modern military and firmly protecting the beloved fatherland.
In the sea waters of the fatherland, the task of combating illegal fishing is being carried out resolutely and persistently. The Navy, Coast Guard, and Border Guard forces have been joining hands to control from the shore to sea and in the air, patrolling and preventing fishing vessels from violating, accompanying and guiding fishermen to comply with the law.
The Navy will use the DHC-6 seaplane with long flight range and wide observation range to monitor fishing activities in the waters bordering other countries, really supporting functional forces at sea. At the same time, the Ministry of National Defense is maintaining 52 ships on duty in the sea areas, resolutely preventing and combating fishing boats from crossing the border and illegally exploiting aquatic resources. The Ministry of National Defense was urged to be more resolute in preventing fishing vessels from violating foreign waters. The border guards commit to the government to tightly controlling all operating vessels. The Coast Guard Force commits to controlling over our sea borders adjacent to Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and Cambodia, patrolling, controlling, preventing, and eventually ending violations of Vietnamese fishing vessels. The government commended the Ministry of National Defense for completing all 10 tasks of preventing and combating illegal fishing. In particular, the Viettel Group has built software for fisheries management, synchronized broadcast data with the Departments of Fisheries, Ministry of Agriculture and Environment, helping monitor the activities of more than 79,000 fishing vessels. Thanks to the troops' determination, we now know the eligible areas for fishing and we will strictly comply with the law when operating at sea. Only when there are no more Vietnamese fishing vessels violating the law can the illegal fishing be ended. Therefore, military ships and aircraft continue to actively patrol to protect the legitimate rights of fishermen and the long-term interests of the fatherland.
Coming up next, Vietnamese enterprise invests in Cashew planning in Cuba. from a legacy of good to a legacy for generation. On December 6 in Cuba, representatives of Viet International Food Yacht Stock Company and the Alquiza Agricultural Company under the AMIDST Agro-Forestry Enterprise Group signed an economic cooperation contract on cashew planting and short-term food crops in Cuba.
Under the contract, Viet Company will plant cashew and short-term crops such as peanuts, black beans, mung beans, and soybeans on 2,000 hectares in Artemisa province. The Vietnamese company will supply inputs, agricultural machinery, techniques, know-how, and technology transfer, while the Cuban side will provide land, labor, and favorable conditions for implementation. The project is viewed as important for boosting food production for the Cuban people and for strengthening Vietnam-Cuba agricultural cooperation. Its success may also open the opportunities and encourage more Vietnamese enterprises to invest in Cuba's promising market, further consolidating the traditional friendship and comprehensive cooperation between the two countries.
For more than half a century, Vietnam-Japan relations have become one of the most comprehensive strategic partnerships nurtured through many channels of cooperation, in which parliamentary diplomacy plays a special role connecting the political will and the sentiments of the two peoples. During that time, there was a Japanese who devoted himself tirelessly to the work, a journey from the parliament through countless meetings to turn commitments into reality.
Takebe's wife once told me that his hometown is in Hokkaido, but he visited Hanoi more often than he went to Hokkaido. When I first came to Vietnam with Watanabe Michio, he told me that 30 years later, Vietnam would become a country that hosts Japan. If Vietnam develops strongly, it will become a major market for Japan. Vietnam and Japan need to become close friends in order to ensure stability in Asia and peace in the world. After Watanabe passed away, I continued the mission following his will. On October 10, 1994, Takebe Tsutomu accompanied Watanabe Michio, former Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan, on his first visit to Vietnam. From that first trip, he found in Vietnam a special closeness of both unfamiliar and familiar culture. Vietnam and Japan share many similarities in culture and lifestyle. Vietnam values the homeland and reveres parents, and I believe the presence of the rule of law and democracy is also very important. Sharing the same values and respecting traditions, that is the foundation for our two peoples to easily find the common ground. The Vietnam-Japan Parliamentary Friendship Alliance is the only parliamentary alliance in Japan's natural diet that includes members from different parties. Only Vietnam has this unique feature. It shows how highly Japan values Vietnam. In 2009, Vietnam proposed to establish the Vietnam-Japan University. At the time, Japanese politics was in turmoil, and the future of the project was uncertain. But in Japan, there was one man who persistently pushed it forward from the parliament to every diplomatic meeting. That was Takebe Tsutomu. When Vietnam proposed the initiative for the Vietnam-Japan University, the Democratic Party in Japan was in power 2009-2012. While it was not yet clear how the Japanese government would respond, the Japan-Vietnam Parliamentary Friendship League, headed by Takebe at that time, played an important role in promoting this initiative on the Japanese side. After the Vietnamese government approved the project, the consensus on the importance of the university has remained unchanged, and the project has made steady progress. The project received strong support from parliamentarians of both countries, including Takebe. I believe the important role of the parliamentary groups of the two sides symbolize the deepening of our comprehensive strategic partnership. Today, the Vietnam-Japan University has become a center of high-quality training, expanding new academic programs and cooperating with many Japanese enterprises. VJU has given me so many opportunities to experience, to interact, and to share knowledge. I've joined and taken part in many activities that is truly an ideal environment for me to grow and to find the right path for myself. A promise that began in 1994 and a university carrying the names of both nations, the journey by Takibe to Tomu is the proof that parliamentary cooperation does not stop at politics but can become a lasting legacy for the future.
It is the end of the Listening News Bulletin today. You'll watch the news again at qpvn.vn. For now, goodbye and see you next time.